Hello there, and welcome back to episode 19 of the Fandom Podcast. Yeah. Today I've got a new guest on today. Hello there, Yuan.
Yeah, Aaron, how are you?
I'm good, yeah. I'm doing alright. Uh,
Yeah, good.
Yuan
Good,
is,
good to hear. Very sunny. It's a very sunny day.
yeah, it's definitely definitely a good day, yeah. It's was actually able to go out now without wearing a jumper or like a thick coat or something.
It is nice, to be honest with you. It's been a bit of a turbulent time of the weather, really. It's been fucking on and off. Sorry for swearing. On
Oh,
and off, really, for the last couple of, I suppose like the last month or so, but it's actually nice for bank holiday weekend. There's actually some good weather about, which, hopefully should keep up.
mm. Yeah, so Yuan is my cousin, and he's also very big into wrestling. So we have got a couple of wrestling departments to talk about later on today. Um, yeah. So do you want to get into the Stranger Things trailer then?
Yes, so Stranger Things trailer. Obviously, it's season 4, part 1 was being released. It's coming up in May, if I'm correct. And
Yeah,
they released a
20.
trailer for it this week. And it looks intriguing. Definitely, I did like the fact they used Journey's Separate Ways as the song.
Mm, yeah, it's yeah. From the like
Yeah,
from. All right, you go.
I was just going to say, I did appreciate it using Journey's Separate Ways as the song underneath the trailer. It was a fantastic song. And, it's not very 80s. It does sort of, it's a song, it's really quite an epic song as well. So good use of that. I mean, and it's intriguing to see obviously what's going to happen as far as like, obviously it feels like there's a character that's scattered about all the place, and it's going to be interesting how they're all brought back in together
Yeah,
to battle obviously whatever happens the upside down next.
yeah. I mean, it looks like it's not just because obviously at the start of the trailer we see Max talking to Billy's grave, and going on
Mm.
about how it's been horrible ever since he died. And obviously, the next shot we see is ambulances, and Nancy, Nancy and Steve are looking on at I don't know, looking on what happened. Well, we don't know what happened yet, but must be some kind of accident, probably with a Demogorgon, maybe. Um, yeah, it's potential to see that it may not be just Indiana that's being affected by this, obviously, because we see there might be some things going on in California as well.
Certainly, I think as well as the whole fact is because of what happens as a result of Series 3. I suppose spoilers if not what Series 3, the Stranger Things, obviously with Billy being affected and eventually dying, it did that, that whole thing at the end of Series 3 did separate everybody. She
Yeah,
might be referring to things being horrible with the fact that nobody's together anymore. I just everything from separated from what they used to have. Obviously, as you said, it could be a Demogorgon attack, could have happened. Let's see what's happened. It's very intriguing. That's the word I'm going to be using for this. Is just, I think they've shown us enough without showing us everything, which is good to see.
yeah. I probably don't need to see any more trailers. I think this is enough, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. To be honest with you, I
Yeah.
would definitely agree with that.
In Russia, we also see they're fighting a Demogorgon as well. As uh, Hopper, yeah, Jim Hopper has been captured by the Russians. How we don't know yet.
Yeah, still don't know about that. Yeah, okay. I think that could be. I think that's the most traditional. I suppose you go for like a proper 80s action film element with that. A guy trying to break out of prison. Obviously, in this case, he's trying to take on monsters as well. So I think that could be. Again, I think there could be a nice homage to 80s action films when
Yeah,
it is Stallone era sort of kind of films.
yeah. I've just come up with a theory inside my head. I mean, I think maybe one way he may have survived is they must have a portal in like Russia as well, and it potentially they broke through the portal, Jim fell into that portal inside America, and then there's tunnel systems which may explain how they got there.
Quite possibly. I think so.
They travel
it's definitely worth sharing.
They travel through the portals, I'm guessing, like travel through the Upside Down.
I could see that. Definitely could see that.
Yeah. See, another thing I saw in the trailer, another theory I have, is the grandfather clock. And I saw a YouTube video on this ages ago, but potentially like clicking down to maybe a doomsday event.
Yeah. I mean, that's so. The whole like countdown to a doomsday event does feel quite generic, but it's just a cliche in TV and movies. You really have to accept at this point, I suppose. It depends, obviously. It could not. It doesn't have to be that, but we'll just see what happens in the actual show itself.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just like a symbolic, possibly.
I was about to come on to this strange thing at the end of the trailer that looks like it's made out of the same blood, like the same thing that the season 3 monster was made out of, and he describes having a war. So maybe this clock could, I don't know, maybe a countdown towards the war that he's talking about. So who knows?
Yeah, what is this war? And what is the war he's talking about, and how is the war going to construct itself on the show?
Yeah. All right then. Do you want to give a predicted rating for the show?
I think the hype's really high for it. So we've had a proper season of 3 years now. Obviously, our pandemic, aside and everything like that. So I think anticipation's going to be high. I mean, it's part 1 of a 2-part season. So when a show does that, I think the ratings. I'd say a 6 out of 10, because they've got to give you enough, got to make you intrigued for the next season. So I think you're going to have to go fair. You have to go to a 6 out of 10. Or if you do it out of 5, I suppose it'd be like a 3 out of 5. I suppose, but that's what I'd say right now. You've got to hold back a little
bit. I gave it quite the 9 out of 10 just overall, because I feel like whatever this thing is at the end of the trailer, I feel there's a lot of mystery towards it, and it's coming to an end now, so I'm liking where they're going with it.
Fair play.
All right then. Next up is Moon Knight episode 3. I'll let you start off in this one.
With Moon Knight, I mean, I know everyone's been raving about it. I've talked to people who watch it on the regular. I mean, I will say with the first couple of episodes, I've not been blown away by it, and I get it's the mystery aspect, but I'm a little bit. I'm not really a fan of Oscar Isaac's London accent, because it doesn't sound like anyone in London I've ever heard of in life. But obviously, it's because he's got the split personality, and it's the ruse for the Mark Spector character living inside himself, and obviously it's just Oscar Isaac properly talking. It kind of made sense for episode 3 with Stephen being locked away and it being Mark out for most of the episode. Good action to it. A little bit like a Bourne film in some ways. The Egyptian, like the god stuff, does intrigue me. And I thought some of the actual fighting skills and things like that, it does feel like more of a grown-up MCU show from what we've had so far. And unlike the others, where you know that they won't kill off like Loki or Wanda in their own show. With Moon Knight, you don't know really anything happens, because you don't know if the show's going to get a second season or any follow up. So it does an intrigue there, and I really enjoyed this episode, I will say.
I mean, I thought it got better towards the end when all the avatars showed up inside the pyramids of Giza. I thought that was good, and obviously when they the changing of the sky as well, when they went back in time for the sky, that was very good. I had a quick theory inside my head as well, but potentially, what if there's a third personality?
Yeah, I know that's been thrown about a bit, and obviously it does make sense with the lad's being killed. Sorry, spoiler. The lad's being killed, and obviously, like, Spectre blanking out and saying Stephen Graham, and he said, no, it's not me. So I think maybe a third personality will emerge. And what accent does Oscar Isaac do then at that point?
Does he pull off a Jamaican accent or something, or what does he do?
It might be slightly lambasted. He does the old Jamaican accent as well. So I don't know what accent. It'd probably be, I don't know. Do a Mexican voice or something like that.
Yeah, he could probably pull it off. Yeah,
probably could.
Yeah, I mean, he's originally from Cuba, so.
All right, so it's nothing. Unless it's just that. It's got to be the different voice, surely, because you can't really do another American accent. Otherwise, it doesn't feel like distinct third personality.
Oh, no, that wouldn't really make sense, to be honest, because otherwise it's not a different personality at the end of the day, because they're meant to be completely different, really, I think.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see, apparently episode 4, I mean, I thought episode 1 was very good. If anyone listened to a couple episodes ago, I rated that one a 10 out of 10. And then episode 2, I think the rush sort of ended a little bit, so I rated it a little bit lower. And I think this one just isn't something, I don't know, I feel like we've gone to Egypt, and I'm guessing, just as always, episode 2 and episode 3 are more storyline episodes. Episode 4 is where we start getting something interesting happening. And apparently the director of the show, I don't know, someone said it, but apparently there's going to be something big happening in episode 4. So, that's normally when something big happens anyway. So, it should be good. Hello?
Yeah, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there, yeah. Hello?
Yeah, you still there, Aaron?
Hello? Can you hear me? Technical difficulties. Yeah, don't know what to say to that. Yeah, so called again.
Sorry, Aaron, I think you disconnected there.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I don't really know what happened there, to be honest, so I just yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Worries.
Yeah. It's fine, though. Oh, God's sake. I accidentally clicked off it.
No worries. Happens.
Right then. Yeah, so, yeah, going back to the point, I see something big happening in episode 4.
Well, how many episodes has Moon Knight got?
6. 6, it will have 6.
Oh, okay, so yeah, I think something will happen big in the 4th episode. I think, to be honest, it was 6 episodes, something big will happen in the 4th.
Yeah, normally it does, like in WandaVision, the 4th episode, we had Wanda and Vision talking about what Vision finds out that he has a life outside of Westview in episode 4 of in episode 4 of Loki. We think he got killed, whether yeah, so normally something everyone knows, I think something normally happens in episode 4.
Normally, yeah.
Have you got anything else to say on this episode? I don't really get much from it.
No, I think good episode. Shows the enjoyability for me in this. See what happens next week.
Okay, then what's your episode rating?
We'll go a solid 7 out of 10.
Okay, I've gone for a 7 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, it was a solid episode of TV. I know someone pointed out that it was a chase scene, and you could see one of the cameramen actually in one of the shots.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, for something that busy, I think there's obviously going to be some kind of mistake.
This gives David Walliams something to point out, and it'll be alright on the night.
Okay, then next up, we got our top 3 wrestlers.
Yes, we do have. Let me get my list up. So it's one of the things with, I suppose, with favourite wrestlers, where as a wrestling fan, you get asked, so who's the best wrestler, who's the play wrestler? And the problem is you can't say anyone straight away because it's like saying someone who's your favourite footballer in the Premier League. Also that it's a very big, it's a wide expanding list, and it's not something you can really ask straight away, I feel.
I mean, for me, if we're talking footballers in the Premier League, it'd be there's about 2 or 3 names I can put into that like list.
I mean, we're both Arsenal fans. I think Saka would be up there for me. I'm not like with as far as I think Jordan Henderson and Liverpool's fantastic. Like I think honestly, it's one of the things I've got into football a little later than I think most people, but I'm still learning, getting my names correct and things like that. But there's a lot of really good fucking players. Sorry to swear again. Through Pete, I think Henderson would be up there. I think Saka would be up there for me. And even though he's played for Spurs, I think Harry Kane you can't really deny either.
Well, yeah, for England, not for Spurs.
For England, not for Spurs.
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right then. Do you want to start off first, or do you want me to start?
Well, do you want to start number 3 and then we'll work our way up?
Yeah. Well, I go where number 1's the best. So, normally I do honourable mentions and then number 3 down to number 1.
Okay. Well, do you want to kick us off, Aaron?
Okay. Yeah. So, as my honourable mentions, I've gone for Randy Orton and Seth Rollins. I think Seth Rollins specifically, I nearly put on this list, but was beaten by somebody. I can specifically remember Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar, SummerSlam of 2019. That was one of the best matches I've ever seen, and that's what introduced me to wrestling.
I remember I sat with you for that one.
Yeah, in Wales, that's one of the best matches I've still ever seen.
It's a really good match. Also, yeah.
Okay then. So,
I was gonna say, why's Randy Orton in your honorable mentions?
I just like Randy Orton, to be honest. I think when I used to watch WWE quite a lot, him and AJ Styles were the two that sticked out the most, and I really like Randy Orton's Randy Orton's style. Like the RKO was the main move, obviously.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I'll start off my number 3. I've gone for Finn Balor. I really like Finn Balor. He's got his I nearly put Seth Rollins ahead of him, but I think I just chose Finn Balor just because I really like his demon style when he goes into that, and he's got some of the best acrobatics that I've ever seen. His fighting style is one of my favourites, I think, just because the way he's able to jump around the ring, and yeah, it's fun to watch. It's really entertaining. So that's what wrestling should be.
Yeah, I remember obviously me and Lane had seen him live quite a few times between 2013 and 2014 when he was still in the independent scene. Yeah, he did have a presence and an aura about him when he'd come out as well. Which was pretty much the match of his last night against Ricochet, who's the Intercontinental Champion at the moment. So I'm actually had in your call in 2013, and still one of the best live matches I've ever seen in my life. And it's just, he had a presence and aura, and I'm always a fan of him after that. And obviously following his escapades in Japan, and when he was obviously Prince Devitt, and I think he's done well as Finn Balor, definitely in the NXT system. He seems to have, he's a constant name, he's a consistent wrestler. I've always liked him.
If I just pointed up now, if anyone can see that poster there. Oh wait. Yeah, that poster there that I'm pointing to is Finn Balor poster. Actually given to me by you.
a lovely poster.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite posters I have.
It's a lovely poster with the old the demon face paint. I remember one more story before we move to my number 3. It's me and Leighton saw him in Tonbridge, and we thought, oh, he won't do because he started doing the face paint at that point. He'd just done the Carnage one, and I said to him, he won't do the face paint. And then he come out in like a mixture of Carnage and Venom. It was fantastic. And I remember seeing him at York Hall for his last like one of his last matches on the Indies before he joined WWE, and he come out as Bane from the Dark Knight Rises, complete with beating up 2 trainees dressed up as Gotham City police officers. What something.
It sounds yeah. Normally how we do it, so we count down. So what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Jushin Thunder Liger. He is to anyone who doesn't know, he's a Japanese wrestler. He's retired now. He wrestled for years and years. He started his career in the 80s, was a young boy in Japan. He come to the UK for his excursions. Wrestled a lot of Rollerball Rocco and the Johnny Saints of the world. Even Aaron, our grandparents, saw him live in those times because there was a match when he's playing with himself as Fuji Yamada. He takes on Rollerball Rocco in Catford in 1987, which is one of the best Full Sport era matches you'll see. Goes back to Japan, and there's his anime show, an anime character called Jushin Liger, and they want basically a lot of in Japan wrestling and anime, like two big things. So they have Liger, they have Yamada play this Liger character, and it just took off essentially because they wanted to do Tiger Mask, and Tiger Mask was like the original Mask character, and Liger just was able to become one of the most revolutionary high flyers there were in the early 90s. He invented the shooting star press. He was doing things. He was just one of the best wrestlers in the world. And that continued because he had a brain tumour. So he stopped wrestling, I think, between 95 and 96 for a little while to get that sorted. But he come back, and obviously he couldn't do as much high flying as he was able to. So he instead become one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. And just with Liger, he's just a legend. He's got one of those iconic looks of any wrestler of all time. I think there's sort of the whole podcast series called Thunderstruck. I was looking at Jushin Liger's best matches. He wrestled for over 3 or 4 different decades, and he was able to have good straight matches. Obviously, seen him live a couple of times as well. When he bought it, he wasn't someone who was like sleepwalking through a booking. And I love him that much. I've got a tattoo of him on my arm because I just love the mask, and obviously meeting him as well. He's a lovely guy. It's just, for me, he's one of my absolute favourite wrestlers of all time from like a look perspective and a skill perspective as well. I can put any Liger match on any time and I'll feel happy.
Yeah, it's a good description of him. I'll see if I can watch the matches of him. Sounds.
There's a few that kind of go around like these. Thing is with Liger, because he's wrestled everywhere. You can literally pick any year between the years of 1990 and 2020, and you'll find a match of his. He's just one of those wrestlers, and he brought it. He absolutely brought it all the time, and one of the most iconic theme tunes of all time as well.
Yeah. Did you say we wrestled in between like 4 decades, like 1980 to 2010s?
They would say it would be actually 5 decades. He started in the 80s, and his last match was on January the 5th, 2020. So technically, he's wrestled in 5 different decades.
That's impressive. To still continue to be one of the best. I think that's very impressive.
He did not slow down as well. That's the thing. Even if he did slow down, he was able to work around it and things like that. And he was, he's just someone I think that's just universally everyone loves, and I don't think anyone's got really a bad word to say about him either.
Yeah. My number 2 is Rey Mysterio, who is one fight for anybody to go see watching this now. If you're a wrestling fan, even if you're not a wrestling fan, it doesn't matter. But he's Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero, the Lucha Libre match. Yeah, it was Lucha Libre.
It's mask versus title, yeah. So it's sort of a Lucha Libre kind of traditional kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's one of the best matches I've ever seen. Just overall, them two going at it, and then Rey Mysterio, a bit like Finn Balor, he's got this acrobatic fighting style, which is my favorite kind of style in wrestling. So, yeah, and then even watching WWE as well, him fighting in the ring with his son sometimes, and yeah, him with his special move as well. I can't remember what his move was called again.
Well, the 619.
Yeah, that's it, the 619. Yeah, very good move. He swings around the neck. Yeah.
Mm. Now I've got obviously from that match was the Eddie match. I wanted to Graham over. I've actually got his mask tattooed next to the Liger one. But yeah, I mean, I've recommended that match to you, and I think it's a match that I think anyone of any age would like, and it's a 5-star match. It's 5 out of 5 for me. Like as far as the match goes, it's one of the greatest matches I think there's ever been.
Yeah,
and it's just you know, and I think Mysterio throughout his whole career, you know, because he started wrestling when he was like 14 in Mexico as well, and you know, he's one of the greatest good guys or heroes I think there's ever been in wrestling.
Mm.
And that mask is so iconic as well. Like you can go. Well, I go to a lot of like British wrestling shows and up and down the country. This is a family friendly. You guaranteed there will always be Rey Mysterio masks in sale, and they'll always sell. Because it doesn't matter how long it's been, how long you've been a Rey Mysterio fan. Like kids will just always love him, and he's not someone who's gone dry at any point or things like that. And he's just again someone I've seen live a couple of times, and he just brought it. He brought it to the when he was wrestling as well. And yeah, he's just someone I love watching. And like again, this is like ECW work, his WCW work, obviously like WWE stuff. Just yeah, he's brilliant. Love Ray. He did the honourable mentions, which I forgot to mention my honourable mentions, but I'll probably do that after I reveal number 1. Is what I'll say.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. What's your number 2 then?
My number 2 is CM Punk. So I started watching CM Punk around 2007, 2006. I think it was 2006. And he was on when he was in WWE, and I loved the look. Well, I saw him because he had tattoos, and I knew a lot of people who had tattoos even when I was a kid, and I thought they were quite cool. And obviously found out this one, I found out he was straight edge as well, and I didn't know what that was. And I suppose as a kid, you've got this feeling in your head that you know when you grow up, you start drinking and all this stuff like that. And knowing that someone was like, oh, you don't have to drink, and he doesn't do drugs or smoke, things like that. And I love that. And, you know, when I got to 18, I did drink for a little bit. Then I decided to quit drinking because I just weren't really asked about doing it. And I adopted to kind of the straight edge lifestyle. And a lot of things I've done in my life are inspired by CM Punk. And so the rest of it goes. And I think the crowning moment in really my CM Punk fandom, because I always liked him, but when I was 13, and obviously when you turn 13, your mind starts changing, you're going through your body changes and things like that. And I think you start, when you're a kid, just supporting all the good guys. When you get to be a teenager, you start seeing, you want to support the bad guys, you want to be a little bit rebellious, and CM Punk cutting the pipe bomb promo and just using his outside references and things like that. And I was like, perfect age just to support this rebel that was CM Punk. And obviously on route to win the title from Cena, and just fantastic. And, you know, it was really sad when Punk left wrestling in 2014, but now he's back with AEW. His return last year is one of the most emotionally satisfying things I've ever seen as a wrestling fan. And he's just doing fantastic at the moment. He feels better than ever.
Yeah,
almost like I love CM Punk.
Yeah, I've seen some of his matches for our AEW, and I think he's just, you know, that's one of the things that's making AEW a better promotion at the moment. Which, you know, that's yeah, I think overall just being able to attract actual stars back, and then
the good thing with Punk, he brings a different style to the ring that nobody really brings in that company. And I think as well, like I think this is, as you mentioned, the star presence about CM Punk. He's a recognisable name. But I've had people I speak to people I know and they're not wrestling fans. They actually say, "Oh yeah, I'll see that AEW on ITV. Oh, CM Punk's in it now. Like, do you know that? Like, and like, it's just a really recognisable name. And people have started watching AEW. People I know started watching that program because CM Punk's on it. And I think that's just a sign of the man, to be honest with you. And he's not lazy about it. He's not just come back and doing the same old thing. He's actually bringing something new to the table, and it's working for him. Massive fan for CM Punk. Obviously, going back to some of his old stuff in Ring of Honor, I wouldn't have seen. Obviously, this one I was got the internet and was a big, following Punk, and so that is some of his Ring of Honor work's really worth seeking out as well. And yeah, love CM Punk. Love him.
Yeah, I need to probably get this done soon, in the next 4 minutes, if I have any chance of uploading this with my phone crashing. All right then. So my number one is AJ Styles, and yeah, the main wrestler I liked on Raw when I was watching that before it got moved to BT. Him, Carl Anderson, and the other person in the trio that can't remember.
Yeah, Luke Gallows, the lazy git.
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, all three of them together were, just brilliant. And then, him facing off against Randy Orton quite a lot as well. And obviously, I liked Randy Orton, but AJ Styles was the better one. I think he was my favorite kind of villain. And yeah, I've still got his gloves. Just a iconic thing where he makes his logo out of his gloves, which overall AJ Styles was one of the best for me.
Yeah, AJ Styles is fantastic. Obviously, I've become a fan through his TNA run, and he just was doing some of those incredible things, obviously, in the life. And I think as he become older, he become a very smart wrestler as well. And yeah, I think AJ Styles is someone, again, I know speaking of a lot of wrestlers as well, on the British scene, and they've actually quoted AJ Styles as an inspiration to them. And I think, he's someone that I think his stuff really does hold up throughout time. Yeah, big fan of AJ Styles.
Okay, then what's your number one then to finish it off?
My number one is Bret Hitman Hart. He was a childhood favourite of mine from the offset. I know there was Hogan's the Warriors of the World, and I think Bret was just a bit more of a relatable character. And I think it was kind of with Bret. He was almost like, as a kid, I knew that Bret Hart's matches were the best matches going, and there's you learn. I felt like Bret Hart was the one you watched, and you learned what good wrestling was, and what logical wrestling was as well. And I just think some of my favourite matches of all time are Bret Hart matches, and obviously I've got the Bret Hart football top that you've seen yourself, and obviously getting a meeting last year in Telford.
Yeah, Telford
Comic
Con. Yeah,
it's brilliant, and such a nice guy to meet. Yeah, for me, if I was, I know, like I said earlier about how creating a favourite this is an issue. I think Bret Hart will always be top for me. There's probably some wrestlers that are better than him or best. If you were to say the best wrestler of all time, but favourite wrestlers, yeah, you can't deny. Bret Hart, for me, is my favourite wrestler ever.
That's good description. I have seen some of his fights, and obviously, he is a brilliant wrestler. Yeah.
Shall I go through some of my honourable mentions quickly?
Yeah, you can go through some of your honourable mentions. We're gonna have a time for a couple of things, but sadly I can't do them now.
What? No worries. I think some of the honourable mentions to go with Zack Sabre Jr., who's someone I have watched he's introduced me to the British wrestling scene many moons ago now, and someone has similar to Bret Hart. His in-ring style was very much for me. Obviously, follow his work more through Japan nowadays. Now it is over there. Someone who highly influential on what I've done the last couple of years ago in British shows. Brock Lesnar, again, I think is a powerhouse wrestler and a wrestler who can create a story within a match. I think he's definitely someone who's very underrated in that sense. He's just always been a favourite of mine. And even when he's had bad periods, he's able to come back even stronger and actually put on some consistently great matches. And I think the character work there as well. I'd have Samoa Joe as an honorable mention as well. Someone who's recently come into AEW, a legend in Ring of Honor and TNA, and obviously he's had his NXT and WWE run as well. Just a big man who decides what big men should really be doing, and has had some of the greatest matches I've ever seen in my life. I'd have Bryan Danielson, another name who's in AEW. Obviously, used to be Daniel Bryan in the WWE. Who just, he's again similar in the Bret Hart vein. It's just someone who just has a very in-ring style that really much suits me, and I think he just effortlessly great and just you never elevate anyone to his level. And I don't want to mention like someone I'm not sure if I'd stick on favourite wrestlers of all time at this point, but someone who's like my favourite wrestler on the British wrestling scene at the moment is Michael Oku, who's also known as the OJMO, and it's just someone I've got a lot of emotional investment in, and someone I think who can work the good guy or the bad guy persona very, very well. And yeah, someone I massively enjoy watching.
So if you want to hear more about Yuan, with wrestling as well, obviously he visits a lot of British wrestling shows. British wrestling shows. He should be having he should be starting a podcast soon, which I'll shout out on the podcast soon.
I'll also mention, Aaron, you do want to hear my thoughts, and at the moment, obviously, the podcast coming soon, but if you want to read my thoughts about shows, grappletheory.com is where I occasionally write some articles. So this weekend, the Progress Wrestling Atlas tournament weekend at the Dome in Tufnell Park. So I will be reviewing definitely the Sunday show, maybe reviewing the Monday show as well. So keep an eye on that, and you can read my thoughts there of those shows. And I've done other shows for shows like Wrestling Resurgence and Progress and Eve Wrestling. So yeah, just if you want to read some thoughts, head to grappletheory.com.
Okay then. It's been a good episode to make. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.